Welcome to Football U. In this video, we're going to be talking about split safety coverage, the basics of that, what that means to a defense, and then we're also going to be covering two coverage concepts against a 2x2 offensive formation, mod and match. My name is Cullen Lark, founder of Football U and a former walk-on at the University of Georgia. If you get value out of this video, feel free to think about subscribing to the channel, and then also check out our website at footballu.com to be able to steal reps with your team, draw plays up, and just improve your football IQ if you're a player, and improve your team's football IQ if you're a coach. But welcome to the video. Let's get into it. All right, so split safety coverage. Really, at the end of the day, split safety coverage is a lot like it sounds like, right? Basically what we're saying is we're going to split the field into two halves, and we're going to have two different coverage concepts to either side of the center, all right? One safety typically is going to be calling out a coverage concept to that side of the ball. Another safety to the back side is going to be telling the guys on his side what their responsibilities are in that play. They'll both be covering, telling each and every player on the defense what their responsibility is in the coverage concept. That's why when you see a lot in college or pro, especially when you get some type of emotion across the ball or something like that, and you see defensive guys throwing up hand signals on the backside of the in the coverage, what they're doing at that moment is they're changing the coverage concepts to their side to tell whoever's to their side. In this case, we got like a Sam, a corner, a safety, a backer to that side. Every single one of them needs to know what coverage concept is to that side so they can play their correct responsibility based on whatever the formation is, right? So that's really split safety coverage, is two safeties on either side of the formation, especially when you're in a two-high shell, telling all the defenders in coverage what their responsibility is, what the coverage responsibility is on that play, right? So that's what split safety coverage is. And now let's get into a couple of 2x2 coverage concepts here right now. All right, so the first coverage concept we're going to be going over is going to be what we call mod. All right, mod stands for man, outside, and deep, and it's really going to involve this nickel to the field right here, this field safety, and this field corner. Really three guys. You could also count this inside backer in here as well. But let's start here with this free safety. Okay, well actually let's start with this corner on the outside, because really mod is really talking to him more than anything. What mod stands for, like I said, is man, outside, and deep, and that's really talking to this corner, all right? You can have his alignment be really anywhere you want. You typically want him at about inside leverage, about the tip of his head, about inside shade of his shoulder, if that makes sense. And you want him either in press man up to about 5 to 6 yards off. So let's have him 5 yards off right here. And what mod is saying to this corner right here is that if this number one receiver right here, in this case is Z, runs anything outside or deep, that's going to be the corner's man, and he's going to be following him no matter what he does. He's got him basically in man-to-man coverage. So if he runs any type of a go ball like this corner's responsibility would be to follow him. He's going to maintain inside leverage based on whatever based on how wide this number one is, because this safety can often get pulled up by this number two receiver, and this corner's got to be able to protect himself on any type of a deep post. So that's why we want this corner to have inside leverage. And if he runs anything, like I said, outside or deep, if he runs a comeback, a go like right here, that's going to be this corner's man in coverage, and he's going to be basically on an island playing this guy, and inside leverage is why to be able to play mod coverage, you're going to need some corners that can cover for sure. But that's the corner's responsibility in mod, okay? So now let's get into this safety. This safety is going to be inside leverage as well, and he's going to be about 10 to 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. Let's say about 11 yards right here. And his number one responsibility is to be able to match this number two on any type of on any type of a cross concept. That's going to be this number one's or this free safety's responsibility. If you check this out, he's going to be, got to disable this ball, my bad. But on any type of an over, he's going to be matching this number 2, and he's going to maintain inside leverage on his upfield shoulder because he doesn't have any help either. And he's basically going to be playing him man-to-man as well. So like I was saying, this safety is going to be matching this number 2 on any type of an over, or even if he's just running a straight vertical ball or like a deep post or something like this. The safety would also be matching this guy, tracking his upfield inside shoulder to be able to carry that guy vertical, and understanding that he doesn't really have any other help over the top. So he's got to be able to play this guy man-to-man coverage as he's running down the field vertical, right? So if we get any type of verticals out of mod, this corner would be carrying this number 1 vertical, and this safety would be carrying this number 2 vertical. Now, let's get into this nickel component right here, this Sam. His alignment in mod is going to be apexing the end man on the line of scrimmage right here, this right tackle, and the number 2 receiver. And he's typically going to be about 3 to 4 yards off. He can be back to 5. You can also cheat him more towards the number 2 or more toward the box based on the down and distance and the situation. If you want to have him more toward the box for the run on rundowns and more towards the number 2 in pass downs. But regardless of that, his responsibility is really going to stay in large part the same, right? If he gets any type of a pass read off of, well, first of all, he's going to be reading the end man on the line of scrimmage, right? He's going to be reading through to the box, and his first read is going to be reading run or pass. If he gets a pass read, meaning that this tackle is pass setting off of this, he's going to be immediately starting to work into coverage, all right? And what he's going to be doing is he's going to be working to reroute number 2 as he's going vertical, and then working out to the flat right here. So if he doesn't have any work, if this Sam doesn't have any number 3 coming back to the flat right now, he can actually work to get to what we call like a sail technique, right? So he's going to be working to get under number 1 and help out this corner or help out this safety with whoever's coming out to the flat, and kind of get an extra defender to help out your safety and corner so that they're not so much on an island, right? But if you do get any type of a number 3 coming back to the flat over to the field right here in mod, that would be the Sam and the curl flat players' responsibility to be able to match that to the flat and rally down and make a tackle if they were to toss this ball out to the number 3 right here, right? So if we get some type of a, what we have right here, this would really be a seam concept with a check down on the swing right here. The Sam would be working, he'd be getting hands on number 2. He'd be working to get as wide and widen out with that number 3 receiver. And that would be how this particular mod coverage would play out against this particular concept right here. You just have 3-on-3 working out to here. And that would be mod coverage against a seam concept right here. All right. Last guy in mod coverage, and you can really kind of count this guy as playing this regardless of whether it's mod or if you run a different concept to this front side, is if you get a 2x2 formation, this inside backer component right here is going to be doing what we call relating to number 3. So he's going to be relating to 3. And what that means is that he's going to be basically following him to whichever side he goes to. So if we get a post snap concept and this back is just on a check down right here, this will relate to 3 player would really just be kind of zoning up and then able to drive on this back check down right here to be able to cover that up. If this back is to go strong right now, obviously that would then be the Sam's responsibility in that case. This will would carry him to that Sam, give him a call, and then he'd be able to zone up and drop into a hook window, look for anything coming back over here or anything coming back over from the front side. But that would be the inside backers component in this particular cases in mod would be relating to number 3. All right. Now, let's say that we don't get verticals out of 1 or 2. So this is really kind of some so far we've talked about how mod is going to be basically kind of like more of a man match concept. Now let's kind of talk about how we can get into the zone principles in mod coverage as well. All right, so we still got the same coverage concept called by the safety. You got mod against 2 open set. Quick side note as well, this is probably not the best coverage concept if you get some type of a condensed formation with the number 1 and number 2 tight to the box. In this case, you'd want to check to a different coverage concept just because your SAM would be very easily able to get pinned in this scenario in a pin and pull type of run scheme. But that's kind of just to give you a note of kind of how the number 1 concept you want to call this to mod is a 2 open set with number 2 removed from the formation, number 1 not stacked on number 2, and you want this to be to the field to be able to have your nickel. You could also run it with your jack to the boundary as well, but anyway, that's mod. But if we get some type of a smash concept, right? If one right away is going to be stopping within 5 to 6 yards or whatever that number is for you guys, at that point, this corner is going to be giving an under, or a smash call to this nickel component to be able to tell him that he's got this number 1 man-to-man now in the flat, right? That allows this corner to then fall off of this number 1 receiver and help out on anything coming up over to his quarter of the field and help out at number 2, right? So if we get to a smash concept with a quick stop from number 1 within 5 yards and a corner from number 2, the safety would have inside leverage, and this corner would be able to give that nickel component a smash call. There you go, smash, smash, smash. And now we got this corner and a deep route doubled up with inside leverage from the safety and outside leverage to be able to defend that 7 route from the corner right here as well. All right. So that's an example of what's going to turn this mod coverage into its zone principle instead of it more being its purely matched with the corner manned up on number 1 and the safety manned up on number 2, right? All that corner would just do is give an undercall to that curl flat component. He'd be able to come out and play that number 1 man-to-man, and then he'd be able to fall off on that number 2, as we stated right there, right? So just to give you one more example really quickly, let's go with a quick drive concept as well. If we get some type of under right away, that would not be outside or deep from this number 1. So this corner would be giving an undercall to the SAM. The SAM would be able to be playing this guy coming back to his side. And then as this guy is actually coming back through, if he gets any type of a 3 coming back out, he can kind of combo this guy with that inside backer component. This should really be the mic right here. But whoever this relating to number 3 player is right here, this curl flat, this SAM right here would be able to pass off any under with this mic right here. So basically, at the end of the day, we've got 2 underneath players to the field right here in mod. We got this curl flat component, this SAM apexing, being able to play anything to the flat. And we got this underneath hook player as well that can help play anything, right? So if we get any type of a concept like this, where we get 2 guys underneath and they're kind of switching out their responsibilities post snap. They're going from number 1 to number 3 to number 1. We can just pass that off underneath, and we still have the ability to be able to double this corner with the safety in the corner up over the top, and we got 2 underneath guys to be able to pass off anything underneath. All right, so that is mod coverage to the field right here. And now let's go over one more coverage concept real quick to the boundary. Going to be what we call match. All right. So there are a bunch of different coverage concepts that you can play against 2x2 formations, palms, bracket, all those types of coverages, clamp. But right here we're going to be going over what we call match. All right. So what match is saying is that it's really in mod right here to the field, we've got a 3/2 concept really with this SAM nickel, or excuse me, the SAM safety and corner right here. To the boundary, we're really saying that we have a 2/2 concept right here, okay? We also have this backer component that can help us out with anything to the flat. But at the end of the day, this guy also has an internal run gap to be able to fit for, right? So we can't always count on this guy to be able to help us out to the flat. So for that reason, we're going to be saying that this, in match, we're going to have our safety and our corner for these two guys here to the boundary, all right? Alignments real quick, all right? This corner is going to be inside leverage again. This is still quarter, so he's got to be able to protect himself on any type of a post because, as we know, if we get any type of a double post or a drive concept, maybe not a drive, excuse me, but any type of basic from number 2, the safety is typically going to be eaten up by that, going to be matching him, and then this corner's got to be able to defend himself on any type of a deep post right here, right? That's why we can't let quarters lose against getting beat over the top, right? So we got to have our corner with inside leverage and being able to run with this guy as he's vertical and not let this guy beat us over the top. I know some people would argue with that type of reasoning, but anyway, getting into match coverage. All right, let's go ahead and clear this entire thing out real quick. We got inside leverage from both the safety and the corner on the number 1 and number 2 receivers. All right, it's going to be their responsibilities is really going to be very, very similar to that of mod coverage. Right, if we get any type of a over from number 2, any type of a vertical from number 1, this corner is going to be matching this number 1. The safety is going to be matching number 2 on the over. Where match is a little bit different than mod is going to be, obviously, first of all, how we play anything to the flat, but also how we communicate any type of a deep scissors concept or any type of a deep crossing where these number 1 and number 2 are crossing and running something like this, kind of down the field, right? What we're saying in match is that really it's a 2/2 concept, right? So we're expecting anything deep, anything like this. We've got to be able to communicate pre-snap between the corner and the safety, all right? Have some type of a check in your defense of saying, all right, pre-snap, you can call it whatever you want, but let's just say scissors right here, okay? So, hey, alert scissors, alert scissors. If we get any type of a scissors concept, then we're going to be able to pass these off to each other, and then you'll take the inside guy, I'll take the outside guy. If you get no pre-snap alert scissors, then in that case we got to be able to match these guys as if they were our man-to-man, because we're not saying that we're going to pass these off, right? And we should have inside leverage from this corner, so we should be able to do it either way. But whatever it is, we just got to be able to communicate that pre-snap, or always having it be played out in a certain way. But that's a big thing in match, is how are you guys going to play if these guys scissors concept down the field, right? More shallow, it's actually a lot easier in match, all right? What we're saying in match, unlike palms, is that basically this corner has got anything deep from number 1. So if this number 1's running a deep post, this corner's got him no matter what, inside leverage, and we're working to break that thing up, all right? But if we get type of a, let's say a typical flat and a post concept, something like this safety is going to then be playing this number 2 receiver from depth, all right? So he doesn't have to drive on this thing right away, but that is his man, right? So he's got to be able to be playing this guy from depth, and as soon as that ball's thrown, he's going to be able to rally and make a tackle on that guy. Like I said, if this is a straight drop back pass with these guys pass setting, you'll get some help from your linebacker component inside, but we can't always rely on that, because if we get some type of play action or anything like that, this backer could be eaten up by that and be fitting right here. So for that reason, we got to be able to play 2/2 with this safety matching this number 2 out here to the flat from depth, and be able to come up and rally and make a tackle. Depending on the down and distance too, if it's obviously a short down and distance and you're playing this coverage and you want this guy to be more aggressive, but that's match coverage. And then what's good about this is playing this guy from depth is if you get some type of a very common like curl concept, all right, something where typically up to 15 yards, let's say, but this number one is running some type of a curl flat concept down here to the boundary. What helps us out with playing this guy from depth is this corner would obviously be driving down on this number one to be able to defend that curl. But you also get the benefit of you got another defender right here who's able to come in and kind of muddy up this picture for the quarterback. And he's still able to come up and drive up and make any tackles on number two to the flat right here. And if it's a straight drop back pass, we should have some help out here with the linebacker as well. So that is match coverage. Really, it's a 2-over-2 concept. And the one thing you got to just be very aware of and thinking about pre-snap as a coach on how you're coaching your players and as players, if you're on the field, is what are we going to do with those deep scissors concepts, and how are we going to pass those off between the corner and the safety? Outside of that, I really think of match as almost man-to-man coverage from depth, with this number two being matched by the safety, this number one always being matched by this corner on inside leverage, defending himself against the post. So that is match coverage versus mod coverage right here, okay? I'll go over a couple of quick beaters on offense about how these would defend out and a couple of just scenarios of how we would run through these real quick, all right? All right, so an example of a good mod beater is going to be some type of a sail concept or a fake over running back out to the 7 from the offense, paired with this number one running a deep post or a pylon or something deep to eat up this corner to get him out of the picture. So let's say we get something like this. Corner's going to be gone with number one. And let's also throw out a flat component coming back out here from the back. This could also be a shallow coming back from the backside. But in this picture right here, this Sam will be widening out with the number 3 receiver coming out to the flat. Obviously this back right here. And the safety is really going to be the guy that's going to be in a tough position. He's going to be matching it over, and then he's got inside leverage, right? So if inside leverage coming back to defend out a deep corner route is going to be a tough cover for him. You'd like him to be able to get underneath and be faster than this number 2 receiver to be able to undercut anything. But like as a quarterback and as a play designer or a deep safety, really this is a tough cover. So this is a good example of a concept that is pretty good against quarters. And mod coverage right here is a sail concept. Getting number 3 out to the flat, eating up this flat defender, and getting inside leverage with the safety, cutting that back out to the corner. That's a tough cover for this safety right here in mod. All right, so that's an example of a beater in mod coverage. So one thing with match is we're still getting undercalls from number 1 from the corner and the safety if they get any type of an under from their guy going vertical. So if we get a drive concept or something like this right here, this corner would be giving an undercall to this backer inside, and the safety would obviously still have this number 2 on inside leverage and be able to match this guy coming back over to his side. But we are still getting any type of undercalls from the corner and the safety. So it is a 2-over-2 concept, obviously, but similar to mod, we got our underneath defenders right here. So if we get anything kind of like we were talking about with that previous concept, you get this corner being able to fall off on this guy. This backer is always relating to 3 no matter what the concepts are to either side. So he's getting 3 to the flat right now. He's not going to follow him. He's now got the new number 3 coming back here to the outside. And this backer would be able to expand out here, play him to the flat. And obviously if this was a drive concept on a basic, this safety would have him. This corner would be falling off looking for work. He could start driving the post, anything coming over the top. Or if this number 2 was on a 7 route right here, we get a double on him the same way we would in mod. With the safety on inside leverage, this corner giving an undercall and able to fall off into the corner. The safety's got inside leverage. So if we get some type of this, corner would be falling off. Safety on inside leverage should look something like this, with these underneath guys being matched by both backers relating to 3 and the curl flat defender to this side in this particular scenario. All right, so one more picture that will muddy up and kind of a match or a mod beater actually is going to be any type of a sneak through and then up vertical, right? You see this a lot these days actually. It's become very common to kind of heavily stem your vertical and your over inside and then running the over so you get some type of an undercall from whoever that inside defender is, or for whoever that corner is who's supposed to be carrying that guy vertical. And nowadays, honestly, these guys are kind of taught to kind of keep an eye on these guys as they're running vertical. But you can imagine if these guys do not communicate this, you can often get this safety on number 2, corner giving an undercall to number 1. This guy will be matching out here to the flat right here. And then really at the end of the day, if we had these 2 guys occupied with the safety and the corner on number 1 and number 2 here to the field, this would be a good opportunity to be able to sneak a guy underneath that flat, that backer component, and then up vertical to get him matched up with a linebacker, trying to carry him vertical. The only problem is it just takes a little bit of time to develop. So if you're a quarterback, you just got to be able to hang on until the rush and then hit that guy up the seam. So that's just an example of a match and mod beater right there. The sail concept and then the climb route, getting underneath that flat component and then stemming that hard vertical. 2 examples of quarters beaters in mod and match. But overall, that's mod and match coverage. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to leave anything down in the comments. And if you like the tool that we use to draw this up, footballu.com, feel free to check us out. You can draw up plays free on our landing page. We've got a free whiteboard that you can use to go in and play around with that. And then also if you're a coach and want to use this for your team to assign reps, you can actually go in and assign reps to your players as practice scripts, and they can go in and rep plays from their own accounts as any position to be able to practice those types of match coverages if you run a lot of mod and match. But anyway, that is mod and match coverage and how they differ, and kind of the 2 examples of split safety coverage against a 2x2 offensive formation. So that's it for this video. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching.